Stacey and Frank back for another episode. Day 2, Rome. Actually, no longer Rome. Headed into Vatican City.
Vatican City.
Its own city-state, country, all that jazz. We wanted to go see the Sistine Chapel today and whatnot, but it's Sunday, and that means it's closed. So September 1st, entering the Vatican City, going to see if we can get into St. Peter's Cathedral, and here we go. It's pretty cool to be here though.
No, this is
epic.
This is cool.
So that's the line for getting.
Get up and walk.
So we're in 20-minute line, and now we're headed to St. Peter's. Although I don't like St. Peter, nor do I like Paul.
And why is that?
Well, because Peter and Magdalene had a blowout, because Peter didn't believe that women should be the one, whatever, the whole patriarchy piece. So it was like, it's part of, I think it was part of Peter's doing that she got displayed like she was in the church. And Paul's the worst, actually. Paul was not even Paul. Paul was a guy by the name of Saul, I think, who's actually part of the group of people that had Jesus executed. And then after that, he was traveling and he had a vision, and Jesus came to him after his death, and he converted and then became one of the leading activists for Jesus, but never having been one of the disciples. And Paul was very anti-sex and whatever, and his stuff got picked up a lot. We are walking on hallowed ground, sacred. So for me, one of the reasons I want to be here is just for the symbolism. The ceilings. All right. You're not Christian, right? Yeah.
I was raised.
You were baptized?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you're.
I was.
So this is important.
I was baptized in 1999.
Okay, that's an adult, right? So this is very important. This is called La Pietà, one of the most famous sculptures of Jesus and Mary. And basically, it's very funny because the ratio of it, if you look at it, Mary is a giant compared to Jesus. So there's a statement there.
So I have a fun fact. There's an artist from Austria that I was his muse about 10 years ago, and he recreated this, and I played Mary, and I'm holding this young man in my arms, exactly the same as this portrait.
Amazing.
It's pretty amazing. It's a huge painting.
A painting?
Huge painting. You want a copy of it? I can show it to you.
I do want to see.
I didn't realize that's what I was
doing.
Yeah.
So behind me is La Pietà, very famous sculpture, and I just read that La Pietà was sculpted by Michelangelo, which was my gut feeling, but the most impressive thing is Michelangelo sculpted this at 23 years old in and around like 1430 something, if I'm not mistaken. It's epic. I was just discussing with Stacey how most of the effigies, like especially the statues in the Vatican, are mostly like old popes, old bishops, and whatnot. So it feels much more like a glorification of a human power structure than it is about divinity or like the myth or the magic, the esoteric pieces related to Christianity. So for example, so if you look at all of them, this is the same thing repeated over and over and over. Yeah, something to the camera?
The immense amount of like expansion you feel in here, it's that collectivist, like you want to be a part of us. It's that us versus them that religion creates. And like who wouldn't want to be a part of this when you see all the gold and the majesty and the ritual, and like they create this like container where you just want to be a part of this. Right. It makes sense. They had to do that to get everyone enlisted. It's brilliant.
And when you see the churches all over the place, it's like these grand monuments built during a time when nobody had money, and they're like, of course we want to be part of that. That's the power. That's the exactly. Wow. And this is the ultimate, right? So. Like even when you look above here, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all like popes. It's all popes.
It became human gods, essentially.
The bridge.
Exactly.
And when in fact the bridge is right in each of us, it's the heart. So, yeah, it's an interesting scenario. Statues are huge. Look at this, man. It's just huge. It's immense. Massive. Again, the 3Bs. Do you know what the 3Bs stand for? Well, do you know what this is about? No, sorry. Give me a second. Security. Yeah, there's a prophecy that after this pope, I think it's the end of the world or something like that. There's a certain number of popes, and after the X number of popes, but it's funny because Benedict didn't die. Yeah, Benedict didn't die. Benedict was the only pope that was removed. But he looked like the devil. Did you ever see Benedict? Benedict's face. He's like, look up Benedict, the last Benedict. He's the German, I think he was German. So this is interesting. Behind me is the listing of all the popes that have ever been a pope and has passed. And you'll see Pope John Paul II, which was the last pope that has passed. And after Pope John Paul, we had Pope Benedict, but he was removed or stepped down as a pope because of all the corruption and whatnot. And then there was Pope Francis that is currently here, and Benedict is not up there. I guess they're waiting for him to die. But I wonder if they would put him up if he didn't go through his whole term, because once you're pope, you go from pope to death. It's wild. Museum of the Treasury. It's a store. Actually, there's a store right in front of the treasury. Quite interesting. Yes, this is all about spiritual alignment. So that's it for us in St. Peter's. Pardon?
So that was worth seeing.
I agree. Glad you enjoyed. I mean, you can't come to Italy and not check it out. No. Yeah, and it's free. So it's like...